There's a reason why the world is getting heavier and heavier and heavier. No matter where you find yourself, if you are looking for growth, if you are looking to expand, you run into the weight of resistance. No matter how much you try, no matter how much you write down, no matter how much you try to manifest, it seems like the world is just getting heavier and your dreams are getting further and further away. My name is Henry Lawrence, and welcome to this episode of the Positive Mindset Podcast, where we're going to talk about what you truly are, how to understand the experience you're having, and make the switch to receiving. Make sure to listen all the way through because at the very end, we're going to take a deep, healing, meditative breath to help us align on this message and move forward throughout the day. We are the rising tide. So if there is something in this message, something that uplifts you, something that gives you a positive perspective, leave a comment, like this video, or share it with somebody so that we can grow together. Your comment might give somebody the strength, the encouragement to put into action what it is that we are talking about today. Now, before I get into this, I want to say this is a new understanding for me. In life, reflection is so important. If you do not reflect, you will project anything that you're going through. And so, something that I am trying to work on as much as I can is reflection. And I had a powerful reflection point last night. And just sit with me as I walk through this and try to take it in as I am currently taking it in as well. If you remove pleasure from somebody or yourself, you find out someone's true state of being. I don't want to say it's who they are, but it's their true state of being. You see, when pleasure is removed, who we are is expanded. And so you are made in this perfect alignment, perfectly balanced, almost like a yin and a yang. If it's 50-50 of your balance, that's equally balanced. If it's 49-51, the balance still stays the same of what it is that you're perceiving. And so if you are someone that needs stimulus, and I thought about this because I was eating some treats, like food that isn't good for me, and I realized like how sweet, how much sugar, how much things had to be put into this for it to feel good, taste good. You see, when you are chasing an external thing to make an internal improvement, you will always need more. It'll feel satisfying for a second, but it won't help you become something. And the law of attraction says like attracts like. So, where you're at in this journey, when you want more money, when you want to expand, when you want an easier life, when you want better friends, when you want a different situation, you're in the state of wanting these things and chasing these things and needing hits from these things, needing more of them to align with something that's in here, and it will never work. It just starts making you feel unbalanced, 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 unbalanced because you're needing to receive something and not realizing that you are something that needs to expand something. So when you remove the pleasure for something, your ability to find the good, find the light in something improves. You see, if you eat a very healthy diet, meaning you're eating just clean foods, no processed foods, no extra sugars, just things that are naturally meant for us to eat, and you're drinking just regular water, you're really taking care of yourself in this time. When you are doing these things, if you have a little bit of honey, or a little bit of sugar or something, it feels rich. You really taste it. It tastes so good. And if you were to eat something that, if you've been eating unhealthy, that tasted good then, it would be too much. It wouldn't be good. The same is true with your internal self. When you start practicing your gratitude and loving who you are in every single moment, who you are starts to expand. And so if you start loving how abundant you feel when you have nothing, then that truly means you're actually abundant and it'll start coming towards you. You see, you start increasing the internal energy, and so that wave starts to shift. And so instead of needing 70% of external to feel good and then 30% of your internal writing, it starts to shift. And eventually you can get to the point where 99% of you is operating on internal alignment and then 1% is experiencing the world. Imagine how much you could pull if 99% of your energy is focused on any good that you could find in this life. You'd be extremely powerful in finding light in the darkest situations. You cannot pursue something and expect it to fulfill something. And that's the difference. So, whatever it is that you're going through, realize that if you remove pleasure from the situation, if you remove the stimulus from the situation, if you remove the reward from the situation, and you figure out, okay, how can I find love for what I currently have? How can I feel the thing that I'm desiring now with what I currently have? And that increases your state of being. The removal of stimuli, the removal of pleasure gives you yourself. And then you start to increase yourself. You no longer need the extra sugar to taste something sweet. You're able to taste the natural sweetness of something. You no longer need the extra praise to feel like you have worth because you're able to feel the worth within yourself. You no longer need the extra money to feel rich because you become rich within yourself. The law of attraction then will make the two come together so that you actually find a loving life because it matches you, to where you actually find an abundant life where it matches you, where you actually find a wealthy life where it matches you. Your state of being is everything. We must get out of the idea that if I eat this food, I'll be happy. That if I make this money, I'll be happy. Because those things, although they'll feel initially good, will not elevate self. So if you've been doing hard work and you've been pushing forward, but nothing seems to change, it's because you're having to become strong in the wrong way. You're having to become less and less than you, and more, and your strength is arrived from what is going on externally from you. And that is not fulfilling. That is not flow state. That is only trying to receive versus trying to let things flow through you. So if you want to move forward in something, you have to understand that there's you, the source, and then everything that you're adding on top of it in this physical world. But you are not this physical world. So whatever your current situation is, you need to learn what the wealthiest version of you would do in that current situation, not I'll do it when. If you want the loving version of you, what would the loving version of you do in your current situation, not when things are better? When you start doing that, the world will shift. When you no longer need anything, you have everything because you realize you have yourself, which is everything. You are consciousness. You are the creator of this experience. That's why these episodes and the way we build a mindset and a self-dialogue or self-talk in our head is so extremely important. When you talk about yourself in a certain way, always, then you become that version always. But those conversations in your head when you're trying to say, I am wealthy, and then it creeps in and says, but no, you're not. You show it with action. You rewire. You say, no, I am wealthy, and this is what the wealthy me does in this situation. And you do the thing that the billionaire version of you would do in this situation, right? Because they are them absent of the external thing. So you are you absent of the external thing. And you have to learn, how can I get pleasure without adding pleasure? How can I get abundance without adding abundance? How can I get wealth without adding wealth? When you do that, it starts showing itself because the magnetism of the two things cannot resist. So in your situation, the path to $1 million is there. In your situation, a path to a happy life is there. In your situation, a path to a happy body is there. They're all there. They're all present. You can't see them because you're disaligned with them, because you're forgetting that you, if you had that result, if you were that millionaire, if you were those things, you wouldn't be thinking like you're thinking now. You would be in receiving. And so we have to step into that and switch the balance. I think this yin-yang of perfect balance has so many different meanings, but one of them is, are we fulfilling on ourselves or are we fulfilling on external things? And we only have so much experience points, or whatever you'd want to call them, to do it. And if there's 100 experience points, if you're putting those points onto the sweetest foods, the sweetest results, the sweetest people, the sweetest things outside of you, then you're moving your experience points away from you, which is not giving you the power to expand. But if you pull those back and you find the sweetness within you, the joy within you, the abundance within you, then those start to expand. You have to understand that you are consciousness first, experiencing everything else, and that includes your thoughts, it includes your heart, includes your body, includes all of those things and the world. So you have to switch that consciousness to finding those things within you, which is the creator of this experience. And when you start doing those things, you no longer need the pleasure. That is why discipline is such a powerful way out. Gratitude and discipline are the two tools that you can use to accomplish anything. Discipline meaning I'm locked into a state of believing, action, and thoughts. And then the consciousness, of course, is going to see those things. That's why it's so important. And then the gratitude is what that discipline is attached to, because you can be disciplined to bad habits. You can be disciplined with negative thoughts. So we want that tool, that discipline tool, and that gratitude, which is a way of motion that's tapping in. And then our consciousness experiences all those things and then prints it out into this world, so then you receive them as well. You cannot receive or perceive differently than you are. So it's so important to think, okay, I have this many points. Where am I getting my feel goods from? If I'm getting my feel goods from the food that makes me feel good, it's probably not going to create the body that makes you feel good. If you're getting your feel good from the ideas and the thoughts that make you feel good, then it's probably not going to make your soul feel good. You have to realize that those things are within you and it comes within you first, and then allow the thing to come to you. That's why your I am statements are so important. That's why your vision board is so important. Your perfect day, all of those things are so important. And most importantly, your identity of self is so important. It's why it's what I'm focusing on so much because I have habits to break. I have desires to break. Yes, I'm going to have the houses, the yachts, the cars, all those things, but I'm going to be attracted to them in senses because it's what I am, not what I need. I don't need those things. I only need to be myself. And I'm shifting that version of myself and stepping into a next level that can receive on next level. That brings my heart, my soul, my spirit, all of those things to the next level in the highest way. And so understanding that in your darkest moments, which is what I was, food is one of the number one things I struggle with. Food and then taking risks. Those are the two things that I have opportunity in, and I am expanding, and I am learning to be a high caliber risk taker that knows that they can put themselves in a risky situation, figure the fuck out, and then solve that situation. That's who I know I'm becoming. The other one is discipline around what I'm eating. I'm very cognizant of my thoughts, but around the food, that has been a struggle point for me. And I was having a misstep. I was eating food that wasn't aligned. I had locked in to zero sugar for 2 months and it changed so much. It changed the cravings. It changed how food tastes. It changed all those things. I locked it in until a holiday came up and it messed me up. I started adding a little sugar here, a little sugar here. Oh, it's okay. I'm eating with my calories, stuff like that. But then the snowball started. And last night I was eating a dessert that was not in my alignment, that was not in my food pyramid, that was not in any things I should be eating. And I'm eating it. And I know it's bad for me. And I'm thinking, and I took this bite, and it tasted like I could just taste the sweetness, and it was so good. And then I thought, well, if I was describing this to somebody who would like it, how just gross it would be to describe that way. That there's so much sugar, so much sweetness that it's like an overload, but that's what I needed to have a dessert. And I thought about where I was when I was eating no sugar, how I would never even be able to enjoy that thing. It would have been too sweet. And I realized that I was using this pleasure wheel to needing more and more and more, and that the truth of self is separate from that. It doesn't mean you can't enjoy those things, but they do not serve you. Whether it's the sugary treat, the sugary thought, the sugary money, whatever it is, those things do not serve you. And so reflection is so important. And I thought about then, I was going to make an episode, but it was too late. I thought about then, now, reflection is your way out. Those that don't reflect project. So if I'd have been sitting there in projection mode, I would have thought about the stress. I would have thought about everything I had to do, everything that's going on as to why I was eating that food. But I went into reflection mode and thought, I am sent from God. Like I stepped in my highest energy. I am sent from God, as we all are, with purpose. And these distractions are taking me away from the purpose that I will naturally float to. I will naturally go to these things. I will naturally become the most wealthiest, the most successful, the most vibrant version of myself by putting into myself, removing pleasure, locking in the discipline. How can I learn to enjoy a carrot the same as I was that Cinnabon? How can I learn that? Discipline, gratitude, the fact that I have the carrot so readily to eat, that it does so many things for me. The grilled chicken, right? The lean turkey, whatever it is, eating that and building the gratitude and the love and the same feeling to something that's actually going to do good for me than the external pleasures. When you do that, every single thing changes. So what we're going to do is we're going to realign to what we are. It seems like people love the I am the one statement. That's what we're going to do is you breathe and say, I am the one. So you take that deep breath in, I'm the one. And as you hold your breath, visualize yourself doing the difficult things, but loving it as if it's the pleasure things, right? That's true self-love. When you decide what something is, when you decide how something feels, when you decide what something can do for you. Are you ready? Let's go ahead and take that deep breath in. And out. Everything is happening for you. Everything. Giving up the pleasure, giving up those things will only serve you. It's hard to see. It truly is because on paper you can say this stuff isn't that bad. And it's not that it is. It's that you're that powerful and that you're that great, that something that isn't that bad pulls you down because of how amazing you are. If something's a net zero, right? It's not bad, it's not good, it's just a net zero. But you're 100, when you put in that zero with you, it still brings you down, even though it's not that bad. You have to understand that these things that we're saying are not that bad, we're equating that to negative, but we are not negative. We are the highest frequency of things that exist on this earth. And so we cannot allow pleasure to bring us down because we're in a pursuit of growth, a pursuit of self, and becoming the rising tide that lifts all ships. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope this episode was impactful and gave you a different perspective on whatever it is that you're going through. If you haven't already, you need to subscribe to my email list. There's a link down below. I send out an email every single day with an easy to follow exercise aligned with this episode. So you can dial your mind in every single morning. It takes just a few moments and you can move through the day with that positive mindset. I also have a lot of really cool, really exciting stuff coming out. And the first place you'll hear about it is as a subscriber. So if you subscribe to the email list, you will get invites, you'll get special video content, so many things that are coming right there for somebody that wants to be an identity shifter, that somebody wants to elevate themselves, whether it's health, wealth, or happiness, all are available to you. Well, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I can't wait to talk to you next time.